This is a classic blues and R&B podcast.
WVON makes the week go fast, makes the weekend last and last. WVON.
And what do you think about the guy who took the plane in this? I don't know if you heard the audio on that thing, but I tell you, the guy was both the controller and the guy who did it. You know, there was no panic, and I don't know if because they did do a scramble, so I don't know if the Air Force shot it down or what. Anyway, it's down, and he's gone. You know.
That was his privilege.
Yeah, that was his privilege. You know, that you're absolutely right. You know, that was his privilege. You know, to do that, he did that. That's right. You're a Vietnam veteran, aren't you?
Somewhat.
What do you mean? I mean, you did be in the military doing things. Yeah, so I'm a military guy. I'm a Vietnam era vet. I didn't go to Vietnam.
I didn't either.
I spent mine in Europe, and I enjoyed it.
Spent mine 3 years in California.
All in California? What about?
Spent my 3 years in California, Travis Air Force Base.
Oh, you was in Air Force?
No. Army liaison. All the guys, all forces had to leave from an Air Force base.
Oh, so you stayed there, okay.
So we had Army, Navy, Marines, liaison.
Yeah, well, anyway. Yeah, you're right. That's how it's a privilege to do that. So, too often we feel that in order to be right, we must bear the stamp of some wise, W-I-S-E, in approving white eminence. But we must find new ways of defining our destiny, folks. And I tell you, my destiny is not set by no one on the 5th floor and no one at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, or in Springfield, Illinois, in this case. You see, I'm an old crazy Mississippi boy. We came into this union. We were number 20th in this union. So, hey, this is it. We did it, All right, we're going to chat with our guest for a minute here, folks, before we move forward with some more music here. We got Mr. Mike Morris in our studio. Mike, tell the folks a little bit about who you are. What have you done in life other than just live?
Let's start with the chicken and ribs.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, born and raised in Chicago, south side of Ida Wells.
Okay.
It ain't there no more. They took it away.
Chinese took over that, right?
I mean, as far as I know, it's still flat land.
Okay.
But like I say, we grew up in Ida Wells, but we spent.
Oh, that's Dearborn. That's Dearborn. I'm thinking about the one on 26 around there somewhere. Yeah, they tell you that's whatever.
Chinese, they doing their thing too. But we're gonna make them another highway going through there. Take care of them. No, we were around 35th and King Drive in that area.
Yeah.
And, pretty good, but we spent most of our time in Lake Meadows.
Yeah.
Lake Meadows was our shopping center.
Okay. So tell us about your musical background, how you did it, how you got there, and who are some of the people you played with and all, Mike?
Well, most of it came from just listening to great music in Chicago, especially from my mother and my sister, they was into the Motown thing and Marvin Gaye and the Temptations. And I had no idea that music was that good. But like I say, when I decided to play, because I was playing music in the high school, when I decided to play, all the bands were playing behind singers. And next thing you know, I found myself playing behind singers. And most of the singers I was playing behind was doing Smokey the Temptation. I said, wait a minute. And, at that age, being a teenager, it came easy. Because like I said, I heard so much of it at home. Like I say, it was good. It was good until, like I say, it phased out as we grew older. So I decided, well, this ain't going to work. Let me move on. Went to the military, did my little 3-year stitch, got bored when I got out, came on back to Chicago, and they said, all my friends were playing in blues bands.
Okay.
I said, blues band? I said, man, we too young to be playing blues. But guess what? They was making money. And I said, okay, because we played soul music, which was our music, and we enjoyed it. But the thing is, the guy that was playing blues was traveling and going places, doing things. I said, okay, let me give this a touch and see what's going to go on. And next thing I know, all of us young, teenagers, whatever, no matter what age you was, we became blues players. Because, like I say, if what had happened was when they started doing the festivals, they gave Chicago a blues label. So we had jazz and all kind of music going on in Chicago, but if you didn't play in a blues band, you kind of suffered. Like I said, we'll keep you busy at least, 4 or 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And we never lost the love for the kind of music that we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you want to make money, you got to go where, they want you to do what they want you to do. And we have quite a few clubs on the south side that we're playing at.
Okay.
But next thing you know, the north side came calling. After the north side, Europe started calling. We said, we can't believe this, man. They want us overseas playing this kind of music, Muddy Waters, B.B. King, and Howlin' Wolf, and whatever. And believe it or not, it worked. And it's still, that's been back in the 70s and the 80s.
What instrument you play?
Me?
Yes, I don't know if I said it.
Playing bass guitar. But, at home I had guitar, piano, different instruments, but I was doing a lot of writing.
Okay.
When you write, you want to write on different instruments.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, when it came to playing in the field, I took up bass because the Motown thing had that James Jamerson thing. That was the thing at the time before all this other kind of bass playing came. And James Jamerson was the cat that everybody was listening to, and bass players really, graduated toward that. And even though the music and the thing changes in the 70s to 80s to the funk and all that other stuff, which we enjoyed, it was still that kind of foundation, bass playing that we enjoyed.
And who's some of the people you played with?
Some people I played with?
Yes.
Well, it all depends on what area. In Chicago, mostly people like Phil Guy, Buddy Guy, Junior Wells. Who else? Because we played a lot at the Checkerboard Lounge.
Uh-huh.
So it all depends. Lefty Diaz, Muddy Water Jr., not the Muddy Water, but Muddy Water Jr. These characters had, when you play with these guys, you felt like, wow, man, this is some good stuff. It was on a blues level, like, just a few people that would come out and listen to it. But I felt like, this needs to be going somewhere. The people from Europe really took to it. We might get a few people in Chicago that just play clubs and, the people that come out of clubs or whatever. But, you go to Europe and all of a sudden you're playing to, 5,000 or 10,000 people on the weekends and, a few clubs on the weekdays. And I said, man, this is amazing. So, we got into the groove. And I think they still do it today, but it's changed a lot.
Our studio guest is Mr. Mike Morrison. When I think of Morrison, I think of Morrison Cafeteria. That's down south.
No, it's right over here on Ashley. Over here on Ashley.
Oh, that's one of that. Okay, I know the one in south. We got a big cafeteria down south. They have a chain down south they've had for a while. Studio guest here, Mr. Mike Morrison. He said, don't call me no Michael.
That's my school name.
Yeah.
That was my school name.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Okay, yeah. Little Michael. Come over here, little Michael.
Everybody, well, we know Michael Jordan, whatever, but the thing is, when you start traveling, just say, hey, Mike, move on.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, tell us more about you and your life, your career and all that. Now, you say you're a writer of music?
Yeah, I wrote a lot of music, but I really haven't got, much of it done. I've got a CD that we did back in 2000, about 5 years ago. We was into a songwriting thing, and we wrote songs for about 2 or 3 years, and recorded it, and pretty good stuff. Although nothing's happened with it, but songwriting is. I always tell a lot of guys, musicians, songwriting is a craft that you have to work at.
Right.
Because I hear a lot of music and hear a lot of words, and I be saying to myself, this grammar ain't too good. The music might be good, but the grammar.
That's true. But a lot of music guys, though, they didn't write with good grammar a lot of time. I was looking at any song you see with ing, the G is going to be left off,
True enough, because like I said, it's the grammar and the where they was taught to speak in English and so forth.
Yeah.
And when I hear it, I say, okay, this stuff will work over here. But when we try to get up on the other level to other people, forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it. It works sometimes. But, like I say, you take it down south, but, down south is just as scarce as being up here. I remember Lee Shot Williams, L.B. Johnson.
Yeah.
We did a lot of stuff down south. But the vernacular that they use and the way that they did their music was totally different from what we do up here in Chicago. I said, man, I can't get used to this kind of stuff.
You're damn Yankees.
I am.
We hillbillies down there. We know what we're talking about.
Well,
like y'all say y'all can't understand Willie. Well, hell, I can understand
that kind of language. The women, move their kind of way.
Yeah.
And you like it, but you just say, okay, it's good for the night, but after tonight, I'm going back home.
Going back to Chicago or somewhere, huh? We have in the studio with us is Mr. Mike Morrison.
Is everybody still up?
Yeah, they still awake. Hell, I'm awake.
Yeah, I got to find me a chicken and rib joint out there. Stay open this late when I get up.
Well, you ain't playing tonight. You're taking it easy tonight. Yeah, that's right. You get through gigging, man. Let's go find some chicken.
Yeah, but the problem is, like I say, Southside used to have so much work for us, man, back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it was like, 47th Street. I remember Drexel and what I really enjoyed was playing with a lot of the older cats. I was still a teenager in high school, and I was playing a lot of older cats. And I would hear them complain about, oh, man, back in the day, and this and that, and whatever. And as a teenager, that sounded like, oh, that bunch of old men talking. Yeah. Then my day came.
Yeah, right. Now, all of a sudden, dog, man. What they say, Beyonce and Jay-Z down at Soldier Field for 2 days.
Yeah, and I'm not really into their music.
No, I'm just saying,
I like what they're doing because it's that. I always tell musicians of today because we always complain because we still in the Motown and Stax and Philadelphia International and all that good music.
Yeah,
but when the rap and all Jay-Z and all this stuff came, you know what? I defend them. Because, I always tell the guys of today, y'all have to understand, every generation has to have their own.
That's true.
No matter, you ain't got to like it.
That's true.
You got to have their own. You ain't, it's their thing, it's their language, it's the way they do things.
Yeah.
And I don't care for it, but I just know that they going to get what we got.
That's true. That's exactly right. Eventually, the next thing you know, say, wait, where did this come from? And
right,
you're definitely right about that. They're going to wonder where it came from.
Well, what it is, a little things, what you call too out in the open.
Yeah.
Say skimpy this or whatever. That's just the way life is.
Yeah,
if they can cross the line and get away with it, I'll just turn the channel. Like people say, man, look at that. I say, man, I don't want to see it. Boom, let me watch something else.
Well, I want to watch it. Where's she at?
see, I grew up on the Andy Griffith, Donna Reed, and, Mary Tyler Moore. That was skimpy to us. So when I see these young ladies today, I just say, you know what? I can't take this.
Yeah.
But it's life.
Yeah, it is.
It's life. And whether one accept it or not, guess what?
That's true.
It ain't your call. Just move on.
Yeah, that's true.
So many things to. And on that, I love PBS now. PBS is my thing. Okay. And they took my guys off of PBS.
What guy was that?
Charlie Rose and
Tavis.
And Tavis. Man, those are my guys. Especially Charlie Rose. And back in the day, we had I can't think of the guy's name, but good commentators back in the day.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, boom.
Well, that's one thing. You hear the media, they want to get on the president of talking about fake news. The president is absolutely right about a lot of it, folks. Things are going on. Journalists are being attacked. You don't hear the so-called legitimate. You don't hear the journalists defending them at all. You don't hear anybody really attacking Israel about a lot of the crap that they're doing there in the Gaza Strip. You got tanks and guns and stuff, and these people throwing rock. It's just like when you find the cops here that a person is running away and you're shooting them in the back. There's no justification for that. None at all. Even back in the Wild West, you shot a man in the back, you were damn near guilty.
That's right. You know, everything was done face to face.
That's right. You know, you look a man in the eye, you take him out. That's one thing.
But you know what I found out? It'll just bring it up. Like Israel, you know, everybody have to have their perspective on it. Because I remember I was in Tel Aviv, Israel, the summer of '93, and we were supposed to do 4 or 5 days over there. And the country was, you know, countries in the uprising.
Yep.
And this is back in '93.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after 2 days, they told us we had to pack up and get out of there. See, everybody's saying, why? Because, you know, playing music. 50 miles from the Gaza border, whatever,
Yeah.
bumming.
Yeah.
I say, you know what? Let's go. And we got the hell up out of there. That was a nice tour. You know, I was with James Cotton. Buddy Guy was there. Coco Taylor was there. And all we do come spread the love. But see, what I say, after we left, I was kind of glad because the next trip was Pistoia. Back in the day, you know, it was nice, a lot of traveling. Pistoia, Italy. We got to open up for Robert Plant, lead singer Led Zeppelin. And I said, okay, this is cool. You know, things are happening, you know. So, you know, and all of a sudden, like I said, in 2000, back 10 years ago, we did a 6-week tour in Istanbul. And when you go to these countries, you can see the stuff that we see on TV, but you see it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Because these people are talking to you, and you right there, and you know, you living it. You're not hearing it from TV. You're living it. And I just say, man, but it's good to be here because this is what traveling is about. See, everybody think it's about traveling, about playing music.
Right.
No, you travel, man. You talking to these people. You living with these people. You eating with these people. And I found out one thing. No matter where you go in the world, you always look for McDonald's. As much as we don't like it here, you get over there.
Yeah, you want to find something that's familiar.
That's all it is. It's not that it's McDonald's the greatest food in the world, but it's what you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I was in Africa, boy, and we were looking, you know, we were looking for a hamburger our way. They had something, but, you know, but it was not our kind of hamburger, you know.
Okay, a lot of people don't know. We was up in Belgium. In Belgium and France, I remember every time I went to Belgium, we would go to go eat, and they had a menu said, you have to learn how to read people different menus. And the menu said beef steak, $12, horse steak, $18. And come to find out, the horse steak was it was illegal, you know, but we do it anyway. But, you know, they sold horse steak, and it was a delicacy. Yeah. And I say for $6 more, we get something that we don't want.
Yeah. And we don't know anything about what it's tasting like. Still got a studio guest here. Mr. Mike Morrison is still with us. All right, Mike, let's start wrapping it up here. Talk to me. Tell me something.
I'm going to still up from the chicken and ribs, man, see if anything's open. One thing I missed that we have, I don't know if you know, we used to have 24-hour restaurants here on the south side.
You used to have those things? Yes, you did.
I don't see it because everything is get and run, hit and run.
Yeah.
So I'm either have to do that or wait for breakfast in the morning.
Exactly right. You know, absolutely right.
That was a big thing for us on the south side of Chicago, is having the restaurants open and so forth, so on. I don't even remember. I think a lot of them was on Ashland or Halsted. But you go down them streets now, like Deadwood City.
Yeah, it is pretty tough. You're absolutely right. Tell us a little bit more about your music there now. Talk about your musical. You know, I saw you in Chuck Berry. I seen you a lot of pictures on your MySpace.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that you played with.
Well, see, I did all that stuff and forgot about it. Just totally forgot about it, you know, like I say. That's when the Willie Dixon organization was doing a lot of stuff. And like I said, I got a chance, you know, do a night with Chuck Berry. Then, like I said, in the same, at the year 2000, Bo Diddley at WGN Studio, and I said, wow, man, that's, you know, I'm looking up my idols. And like I said, you know, Luther Allison, we had back, I remember the summer of 83. I was with Luther Allison. We was on tour. That's when I met Willie Dixon, John Hammond Jr., John Lee Hooker, and we, you know, dealing with the greats.
John Lee Hooker.
Dealing with the greats.
Yeah.
You know, so back then, that was my big run.
Now, I was talking to you before the show here. Now, did you tell me you were in Japan when?
Yeah, I took a picture with Johnny Guitar Watson because Johnny Guitar Watson, Robert Cray, and me with James Cotton. And that Monday, Tuesday, I think it was Monday, Tuesday night, I took a picture with him because he had just came out stage. He was soaking wet. When he performed, he performed. But see, a lot of that type of performing, they kill you, and it did. Because he said, hey, man, let me take my clothes. I said, no, man, I want you just the way you are. Because I had my bass in my hand. I just want to, just get that picture and run on stage. And I took that picture that Monday, Tuesday night. And that Friday night, he fell out on stage and died on the way to the hospital. And the picture, I was still in the camera. That's how I had developed the picture. And I said, man, I can't believe this.
Were you working with him or you was there for somebody else?
No, I was with James Cotton. We was on tour. James Cotton, Robert Cray, Johnny Guitar Watson, 3 and 4 people.
Okay.
We toured together.
Yeah.
And there it was. Yeah. Took a picture with him on Monday or Tuesday, gone Friday.
Yeah.
That's really shocking, man.
Yeah, well, you...
But the funny thing is, you found out, I always tell guys, don't die overseas. Because then the government had to get involved. Because they started calling, what the government says? Yeah, it's on y'all. But it's really on your government. But
yeah, that's true.
By being in Japan, they just said we're gonna screw y'all. Yeah. They called the record company. The record company, what the record company did? Started printing up records. That's the way your business item then.
Yeah.
And I just said, ain't this something?
Yeah.
And see, the whole band. I took a picture of the guys, memorial because they had to come back and they had to have one guy in the band to stay to, ride with the body. It's morbid, man, to find out what happens to you when you're overseas.
Yeah, well, that's one thing why people don't realize when you talk about undocumented folks. If you documented, that's where your government know where you are. They knew you were there, so they have to do certain things to get you back, And but if you don't know you're there, hey.
Well, people don't like paperwork, but it pays off in the event of, things happening to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to thank you very much for being with us, Mr. Mike Morrison.
My pleasure.
Anytime you want to come back through here, don't hesitate to give me a shout.
Nice to get out.
Yeah, it's good to have you out, too.
My life is just beginning.
Yeah.
It's been about 100 years of just beginning.
Yeah. Thanks for joining our podcast here on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to us at Henry CB. Follow us on Twitter at WVON Henry and like our Facebook page at Classic Blues and R&B.